This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft.
So that's America, man. That's America, man. It's full of witchcraft and sorcery, man. That's what it is, man. So go back. That's all I wanted up out of there. So that's the vibration that America pushed in the world, man. Sorcery and witchcraft, man. Okay? Okay? So go back to Jeremiah.
This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 25. YAHAWAH SHAM YAHAWASHI hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts, and the land of the Chaldeans.
Yeah, that's America, man. Go ahead.
Verse 26. Come against her from the uttermost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left.
So that's what it is, man. That's how anybody that's on the shores of America is going to be pierced through, man. They're going to be utterly destroyed, man. Okay? So go back to Isaiah 13 and 15.
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust.
How are they going to be thrust? With nukes. That's how they're going to be pierced through. Go ahead.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
So anybody that's joined to these Edomites and on the land of America, how are they going to fall? By the sword. And what's the sword? That's in the Most High's armory, which is nukes. Go ahead.
So verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
Go ahead.
Their houses shall be spoiled.
So their houses shall be spoiled. So these are the things that's going to take place according to prophecy in America, man. The children are going to be destroyed. Okay? Their houses are going to be ravished. Those are the things that's going to take place, man. Give me Job 27 and it might be 17. Job 27 and 17, man. So it's gonna happen, man. That's part of the prophecy, man. It's gonna happen, man. Those things gotta take place in America, man. And if you don't believe it, read Romans 3 and 3. If you don't believe it. So what? We don't care. You got Job. Start at verse 13. Yeah. I was close. Go ahead. Get you around. Get you in your never vicinity, bro. Get you close to it. All right. Job 27 and 13.
This is Job chapter 27, verse 13.
Go ahead.
This is the portion of a wicked man with the Most High, and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty.
Go ahead.
Verse 14. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword.
Hey, man. There you go, man. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, man. So, do the Most High care about Esau's sons? Nah. Most High don't care about them, man. They're just a little devil born into the world, man. They got to be destroyed, man. Because they're going to grow up to be a big devil. Go ahead.
And his offspring shall not be sanctified with bread.
Yeah. You're not going to be satisfied with bread, man. You're not going to be filled up. You're going to lose all your resources, man. See? Go ahead.
Verse 15, those that remain of him shall be buried in death.
Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, man. So that's a lot of Esau. That's a lot of you red Hebrew Edomite. That's a lot of you so-called white people, man. That's it, man. Go ahead.
And his widows shall not weep.
Yeah, so on the other side of the kingdom of heaven, when we putting you Edomites to death, your women ain't even gonna even mourn, man. That's how cold it's gonna be, man. So drop that and go back to Isaiah.
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 16.
Go ahead.
Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
Go ahead.
Their houses shall be spoiled.
So they're gonna lose everything they got, man. Everything they call themselves building up for a future, they're gonna lose it, man. The Most High gonna destroy it, man. Go ahead.
And their wives ravaged.
Yeah, during that time, man, before America get burnt, a lot of these Edomite women gonna get raped, man. They're gonna be carried away, and men gonna have their way with them, man. That's what it's gonna be, man. Okay? That's them curses falling up on Esau, man. Just like our women was raped in slavery, and when we was falling as a nation of people, that's the same way it's gonna happen to Esau, man. You know, these red Hebrew Edomite women, they gonna be taken, man. And Esau ain't gonna have no might or power to do nothing, man. He gonna lose everything, man. Go ahead.
This is verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
So that's what's happening to Russia, man. The Most High got a hand in it, man. That's why Russia down there in Venezuela and got America blocked, man. Making it hard for them, making it hard for them to overthrow Maduro, man. Russia, them, who made it hard to overthrow what is it, the president of Syria, Assad. Yeah, who made it hard for America to overthrow Assad? Russia. You got Iran in there too, but who made it hard for America to overthrow Assad in Syria? Russia, man. Who making it hard for America down there in South America with Maduro? Russia. So that's the Most High stirring the Medes up, man. Which are them Russians, man. Go ahead. You got to understand prophecy, man. Okay? Go ahead.
Which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
So Russia them already got it, man. They already got the gold and the silver, man. America ain't got nothing, man. Okay? It's saying gold and silver there, but America ain't got no gold and silver, man. They got Federal Reserve notes, man. They got toilet paper, man. Okay? So you, in other words, you ain't gonna be able to pay them Russians off, man. The Russians don't need y'all, man. Okay? It's the Most High that's intervening and got this thing going, man. Okay? So the Most High is using you red Hebrew Edomites against you other red Hebrew Edomites. Two superpowers, man.
They do like specialty beer trimming and stuff like
and
that.
And see, the Rothschild controlling everything, man. Okay? Matter of fact, since we've mentioned them, see the Rothschild, matter of fact, give me that book. See, the Rothschilds already got control of America, man. Their main concern is over there in the East, man. We're gonna read this book. This Facts of Facts. This is a book, Facts of Facts, and the author of this is Benjamin Freeman. Okay? Facts of Facts by Benjamin Freeman. Okay? And I'm gonna have the brother read some of this in here, man, about the Rothschilds, man. Start over there. We're gonna go to the next page. Start there. All the highlights.
Okay, start up here. Access to the Far East through the Mediterranean is known as Great Britain's lifeline. The Rothschild dynasty had plunged Great Britain into many wars, only to preserve their lifeline to the Far East.
See, the Rothschilds is focused on the Far East, man. Okay, they already got America. It's the Far East is what they want, man. Go ahead.
History tells that story. The Suez Canal was not constructed by the Rothschilds.
See, the Suez Canal, that's over there in Egypt, okay? Suez Canal over there in Egypt, okay? That's a major port, man, over there in Egypt. Go ahead.
They did their utmost to prevent its construction.
Go ahead.
The Suez Canal was constructed by the Frenchmen de Lesseps and the Khedive of Egypt. The Rothschilds refused to invest 1 cent of their money in the company,
Go ahead.
which obtained the concession to construct the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal was completed in 1869. It, from the very start, proved a great success. Jump down here.
Yeah.
The Rothschilds had Great Britain occupied Egypt exactly as a defeated power is occupied by the victor. The British ran the schools, the banks, the railroads, the courts, and Egypt ceased to be Egypt.
Okay, so the Rothschild control all that, man. You see what you got, man? And then the Rothschild controlling Trump are always mentioned. And you got a lot of them gutter rats, man. A lot of them gutter rats are down in South America, and a lot of them gutter rats are in the White House, man. Okay, Ivanka Trump married to a gutter rat, man. Okay, and I always mention Wilbur Ross, the Secretary of Commerce, which is in the cabinet of Donald Trump, man. And that's the face of American money, man. And he worked for the Rothschild, Wilbur Ross, man. Go ahead.
Except in name, naturally, the Suez Canal came under complete control of Great Britain.
What page number you on?
14 now.
Okay, he read 113, but now he on page 114. Go ahead.
Okay. The original concession for the Suez Canal was for 99 years. The more important the Suez Canal became to the Rothschilds, the more the Rothschilds worried what was going to happen when the 99 years concession for the Suez Canal expired in 1969.
So the Suez Canal deal with trading. Okay, it's a trade port, man. Okay, they do a lot of trading in the Suez Canal, man. Oil go through there. Okay, so the Rothschild is focused on what? Resources. Just like they focus on resources in Venezuela, man. Okay, it's all about resources with these elites, man. And I think one of the Rothschild's companies is Genie Oil. I want to say, if I ain't mistaken, it's called Genie Oil. That's owned by the Rothschilds, man. Go ahead.
It reverted to Egypt as the concession provided. Great Britain spent large fortunes. Great Britain spent large fortunes and spilled much blood into many wars to maintain uninterrupted and undisturbed possession of the Suez Canal.
See? Go ahead.
The Rothschilds knew that Egypt would be free to grant a new concession for the Suez Canal to a power unfriendly to Great Britain.
Hey, you Negroes that's in the Kemet, hey, why you don't control the Suez Canal, man? You know what I'm saying? You in the Kemet, you in the so-called black conscious community. Why you don't control the Suez Canal, man? Over there in Egypt, huh? Edomites control that. You. Hey, man, you Negroes, man, ain't on no level, man. You ain't on no level, man. The Rothschild control the Suez Canal. Where you black unconscious community, where you at when it comes to the Suez Canal over there in Egypt? Go ahead.
Like France, Germany, or Russia, when the concession expired, the Rothschilds feared the consequences. should the Suez Canal fall in the hands of an unfriendly power, and Great Britain had many powers in mind
Go ahead.
who could make good use of the Suez Canal, politically also against the British Empire.
Go ahead.
Moving on to page 115. Great Britain occupied Palestine from 1921 to 1948
There you go. Here we go. Here we go. Go ahead.
as the mandatory of the League of Nations.
Go ahead.
During that period, the British Empire fell apart. By the time the Zionists established a Zionist state in Palestine, the British Empire had fallen apart and no longer existed.
Go ahead.
Palestine under the Zionists could not apply for admission to the British Empire. There was no British Empire. When the Rothschilds realized what was happening, they were compelled to alter their plans. The Rothschilds were determined that Great Britain must turn over Palestine to the Zionists.
Yep. That was in 1948, right? After World War II. But like I always tell you, the Balfour Declaration was created before World War II. It was created in World War I. It might be 1917 if I'm mistaken when it was created. Go ahead.
For a sovereign Zionist state. The ideal of a United Nations was then a reality, and the Rothschilds planned upon getting the sovereign Zionist state admitted to the United Nations.
Go ahead.
The United Nations would provide Palestine with the same advantages that the British Empire would have provided once upon a time. If the sovereign Zionist state could be admitted to the United Nations, Palestine's future was assured.
Go ahead.
The Rothschild dynasty was astonished when on April 6, 1917, the United States declared war against Germany.
Go ahead.
By July 1917, it appeared that Germany would be defeated after the entry of the United States into the war.
Yeah, so go ahead.
The Rothschilds purchased a Prince Albert frock, coat, and a silk hat for Chaim Witzman, and treated him as though he was already the head of the government of Palestine,
Go ahead.
which he eventually became. Great Britain was certain to defeat Germany. Great Britain had agreed to turn over Palestine to the Talmudists of the world for railroading the United States into the war in Europe.
Yeah, so the Talmud ain't got nothing to do with the King James Bible. That's what them so-called rabbis, them gutter rats, them fake Jews, that's what their rabbis study, man. They instructed off the Talmud. The Talmud ain't got nothing to do with the Bible, man. Go ahead.
As Great Britain's ally. Page 116.
Right.
Finance transplanting 600,000 Eastern European Talmudists into Palestine, and arranged to remove the last of General Allenby's 200,000 British troops from Palestine. In collaboration with President Truman in the United States, the armed 600,000 transplanted alien Talmudists on May 18th, 1948.
So you had the Britain Army controlled by the Rothschilds, right, to go into Palestine and wipe the people out that was in Palestine, man. Okay? Go ahead.
Began their expulsion from Palestine of the Christian and Muslim disarmed and defenseless.
Now, looking at that, You can have Israelites scattered amongst them, man. Okay? Because Israel scattered everywhere. So when they went into that land, you could have had Israelites mingled amongst them heathens over there. You know, because Israel everywhere. But the point is they sent military into Palestine to wipe out them people, man. To plant them gutter rats in that land, man. So they forced them out of there, man. They just didn't come with roses and say this is our land. They used military might to get them up out of there, man. And see, that's the blessing of Esau, the sword. So go ahead.
1,350,000 population, and at the same time declared their armed uprising, the state of Israel. The Middle East situation is the result of the Rothschild efforts to secure permanent and secure access to the Far East.
So why is all that stuff going on in the Middle East? It's the Rothschilds, man. Why is that stuff going on down there in Venezuela? It's the Rothschilds, man. The Rothschild want all the resources. Matter of fact, give me that in Genesis 27 and around the 47th verse, somewhere up in there. The blessing of Esau is the Rothschild, man. So I just wanted to show you, man, what's going on in the Middle East. The Rothschild is behind it, and it's set up by the Most High, right? But he's using the Rothschild. And what's going on down there in Venezuela is set up by the Most High, but he's using the Rothschild, and the Rothschild control America, man. So that's what it is, man. And the Most High is stirring up who? The Medes, the Russians. So the Most High got his hand in all this, man. Okay? But I wanted to show you the Rothschild is the ones that's really focused on the Far East, man. They want the Far East. They got America in the bag, man. They ain't tripping about America. They want the Far East, man. Okay, go ahead. Finish that off, okay.
This nonsense about the reparation of God's chosen people to their promised land.
We're just talking about them fake Jews, which they not the real Jews, okay? Them Israelis, they not the real Israelites, okay? Go ahead.
Has been revealed, the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on mankind.
So the Rothschilds ain't worried about them gutter rats over there. They could care less, man. They worried about the resources, man. Go ahead.
The single purpose of the Rothschilds was to secure permanent and secure access to their vast natural resources in the Far East.
God still, man. So give me that in Genesis 27.
This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Question. Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Yeah, Esau, he found out he was humiliated, man. He was crying, man. He was weeping, man. Okay, he was humiliated, man, when Jacob got that blessing, man. So he begging for another blessing. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. They're dealing with the resources, man. Go ahead.
And of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother.
So this the point. It said, by the sword shalt thou live. And when you look up that by the sword thou shalt live, it means to prosper, man. Okay? So Esau living by the sword, he was gonna succeed or excel using the sword to get the natural resources. So he was gonna prosper, man. And guess what? We just read in Facts of Facts by Benjamin Freeman. What does the Rothschilds focus on? Resources. And how did they get that land of Israel? Military might. What did Donald Trump say? Anything's on the table. And who tells him to say that? The Rothschild. Okay? And then on top of that, I'm gonna hit you with something else. Donald Trump talking about building a wall. Who is gonna be the contractors to build that wall? Fake Jews. They the ones that got the contracts, man, to build a wall. Them fake Jews. You remember I sent you that clip? Fake Jews is the one that got the contract, man, to build a wall, man. See that? Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
So it was a point in time to when David was in power, Esau was in slavery. So after David died, okay, Esau got free from us as a people for being in slavery. Then when you go into the future, we deal with the so-called Holy Roman Empire, when Jake was ruling, okay, and Esau was slaves up under Jake, man. When you go into Constantine, the Dark Ages, and so on and so forth, and then to all the way up into 1453, when we was ruling in Turkey and in Greece, and on the west side of Europe, we was ruling, and Esau was in slavery up under us at that time, man. Okay, but in 1453, that's when he broke the yoke. Okay, and they was getting back into power, man. Starting with Christopher Columbus, man. Cristobal Colon, man, when he came over here, man. So, hey, man, they was coming back into power, man. Okay? So, what was we at in Genesis? So, that's it on that. But go back to Isaiah 14, right? Isaiah 13 and verse 15, 16, one of them. About the Medes.
17.
Okay, all right. Water.
This is Isaiah chapter 13.
Damn.